The air smelled like burning metal and smoke danced through the broken halls of Outpost Nura 9. The human soldier named Jace moved slowly through the ruined hallway, his boots crunching shattered glass and debris. The building trembled again, this time with a deeper groan, like something alive was dying beneath his feet. His pulse raced with each flicker of the overhead lights. He was alone. At least he thought he was. This wasn't where he was supposed to be. His mission had been simple: scout the outer shell of the abandoned alien structure and report back. But a last-minute quake had collapsed the eastern tunnel, cutting him off from his unit. His comms were down. Oxygen was thinning. He gripped his rifle tightly and checked his suit systems, which blinked in low battery warning. Something was very wrong here. Jace's footsteps echoed in the empty passage as he moved deeper. Symbols glowed faintly on the wall's alien writing, unknown and old. He couldn't read them, but something about them felt alive. He passed by what looked like a control panel, but its surface flickered with broken energy. Then he heard it. A voice, soft, breathing his name like a whisper through time. Jace? He froze. That was impossible. No one knew his name here. He scanned the corridor but saw nothing. The voice was feminine. Close. The air suddenly shimmered, and something stepped out from the blue mist ahead. It wasn't human. It was her. Tall, blue-skinned alien girl emerged from the light, dressed in a glowing bodysuit covered in star-like symbols. Her ears were pointed, her eyes shining with a deep green glow. Her expression was stunned, as if she had seen a ghost. She stepped forward, her lips parted in disbelief. She looked at Jace like she knew him, like she had been waiting for him for centuries. Jace raised his rifle instinctively, but didn't fire. Her body language wasn't hostile. She stopped a few feet away, staring at him, tears forming in her eyes. "Is it really you?" she asked, voice trembling. "You came back before the fall, before the collapse. I knew you would return to me, even across the stars." "My mate, what are you talking about?" Jace asked, still unsure if this was a trap. "I don't know you. I'm not your mate. I'm human. I was just scouting the building. I'm not supposed to be here." But the alien girl stepped closer, gently lowering his rifle. Her fingers were soft and cold. "No," she said, almost smiling. "You were always meant to be here. You don't remember now. But I remember everything. I saw you die. I held your body in my arms before the stars burned. But now you're here, and I won't lose you again. Not this time. Not before the end." Jace tried to pull away, but she gripped his hand. The building shook violently. Sparks rained from above. He looked at her closely. Now she was young, but her eyes held pain that felt ancient. She wasn't lying. She believed everything she was saying. "You've got the wrong person," he said. "I don't know who you are." "What's your name?" She hesitated, then answered. "My name is Elira, daughter of the Voidlights, guardian of this city. And once, I was yours." A loud blast echoed from behind them. The wall burst open as flames rolled into the hall. The structure's core was unstable. Jace instinctively grabbed Elira and pulled her behind a support pillar, as glass and fire ripped through the air. The noise was deafening. The ground split beneath them. Alarms in Jace's suit blared as temperature and pressure spiked. "We need to leave," Jace shouted. "Now!" But Elira didn't run. She looked toward a glowing chamber ahead. "The beacon," she whispered. "It's still active. If we destroy it, the whole city will fall. But if we stabilize it, I can protect you. I can protect us both, like before." "Before what?" Jace yelled. "I don't remember any of this." She turned to him, pressing her forehead gently to his. "Then I'll help you remember," she whispered, "but only if we survive." She ran toward the chamber. Jace cursed it under his breath, then followed. The corridor beyond was collapsing. Heat roared around them, Pillars cracked. Walls bent. The beacon chamber was round and massive, filled with ancient alien machinery that floated mid-air. At the center was a pulsating orb, glowing with cosmic energy. Elira stepped up to the controls. Her hands moved fast, typing in glyphs Jace couldn't even see properly. He stayed near the door, watching it shake with each explosion from outside. "We have minutes," he warned. "Maybe less. I can lock it," she said. "But it needs power. Life force. A spark of memory. That's how our kind built it." "What does that mean?" She didn't answer. She pressed her palm to a panel. Her body glowed. "It needs love," she said. "That's what powered it before. You, me, when we were one." The floor jolted. The city groaned again. Jace ran to her side. "What can I do?" he asked. "Stay," she said. "Just stay." "That's enough." The chamber filled with light. Jace covered his eyes. The past, present, and something else collided in his mind. For a second, he saw flashes, her face different. His body changed, a kiss under strange stars. A promise made. In a dying galaxy. And her voice calling him home, asterisk. The chamber glowed brighter as Elira's energy poured into the controls. Her fingers moved like she had done this 1,000 times before. Jace could only watch, heart pounding, as symbols lit up on the floating consoles and ancient machinery began to hum. Outside the walls, explosions rattled the foundation of the tower. Fire and light filled the cracks of the floor beneath them. Jace felt the heat rising and the gravity flickering. The building was seconds away from collapse. He took a step closer to her. "You said you could stabilize it," he shouted over the rising hum. "Is it working?" Elira didn't answer with words. She pressed both hands against the crystal orb in front of her. The glow moved into her chest, outlining her heart in bright pulses. Her face twisted in pain, but she didn't let go. Her body began to rise slightly off the ground, floating like she had become part of the machine. Jace reached out. "You're hurting yourself. Stop." She looked down at him, tears sliding silently down her cheeks. "It remembers," she said. "You're here, and so it listens. It's stabilizing now, but it needs one more thing. It needs your voice. Say it. Tell me you remember me." Jace hesitated. His mind screamed that this was impossible, that he didn't know her, that she was confusing him with someone else. But somewhere deep inside, something stirred, a feeling he couldn't explain, a sadness he didn't understand. He stepped forward. "I don't remember everything," he said. "But I believe you. And I believe we knew each other. I believe I mattered to you. And I won't let you burn alone." The light grew stronger. The ceiling above them cracked, but the energy from the beacon pulsed outward, holding the room together. It was working. Elira slowly lowered back to the floor, her legs shaky. The orb dimmed to a soft glow, now stable. She stumbled forward. Jace caught her. Her skin was cold and glowing faintly. Her body trembled, but her eyes looked into his with fierce relief. "You stayed," she whispered, "even when I doubted." Jace helped her stay on her feet. "We need to move," he said. "The rest of the tower's not going to wait for us." They ran through the nearest exit. The beacon chamber sealed behind them with a loud hiss. The corridor ahead was half destroyed, but a pathway glowed faintly on the ground, guiding them. They followed it without a word, side by side. Each step felt heavier. The station was dying slowly, even if the core had stabilized. Somewhere ahead, the emergency shuttle ports should still be intact. If they could reach them in time, they might survive this mess. Jace scanned the hallway ahead for threats. Suddenly, a deep growl echoed through the corridor. A large shadow moved between the flickering lights. Then it stepped into view. It wasn't just rubble that haunted the ruins. A hulking alien beast with silver armor and crimson eyes blocked their way. Alira froze. "That's one of the Sentinels," she said. "The ancient guards. They were programmed to destroy anything that disturbed the city after the collapse, even me." The creature roared and charged. Jace pushed Alira behind a pillar and fired. His rifle. The energy bolts hit the creature's chest, barely slowing it down. It swung its massive arm and smashed into the wall, sending sparks flying everywhere. "Go!" Jace shouted. "I'll distract it," but Alira refused. She ran to the wall and touched a control rune hidden under the debris. A burst of energy surged from the floor and struck the sentinel in the leg, causing it to stumble. "Its weak point is beneath the left shoulder," she yelled. Jace aimed carefully and fired again. This time, the bolt pierced the armor, and the creature screamed. It lunged at him in fury. Jace rolled aside and kept firing. Alira rushed to a console nearby, typing commands and alien symbols. With a final shot, Jace hit the core inside the sentinel's chest. The creature froze, then collapsed. In a heap of sparks and smoke, Jace leaned on the wall, panting. "Please tell me there are no more of those." Alira smiled faintly. "No, that was the last one left guarding the upper levels. We're close now." They ran again. This time, they reached the end of the hall, where a large circular room held a single escape pod. The walls were shaking. Fire licked the edges of the chamber. The system's panel blinked red. "Only one pod left," Jace said. Alira looked at it quietly. "You take it," she said. "You still have a life out there. You don't belong to this dying place." Jace grabbed her arm. "You're coming with me. I didn't go through all this just to leave you behind." For a moment, she looked conflicted. Then she nodded slowly. Together, they stepped into the pod. The doors closed. The launch timer began. Outside, the station began to collapse in earnest, sending walls crashing down behind them. The escape pod shot away from the crumbling tower, piercing through fire and debris as the ancient city behind them collapsed. Through the rear screen, Jace and Alira could see the burning fragments of what was once a great civilization drifting into space. Neither of them spoke for a while. Jace kept his eyes on the panel, checking vitals, fuel level, and course. The pod was heading toward the nearby human-controlled orbit station. Alira sat beside him in silence, staring at the stars outside the window. Her glowing hands were folded tightly in her lap. The energy inside her had dimmed, but it still shimmered faintly through her skin. She looked calm, but her heart was not. She turned her head slightly and asked, "Do you still feel it?" Jace didn't answer right away. "Feel what?" "The pull," she said, "the connection. The thing that brought you back to me." He didn't know how to explain it. He had seen her only hours ago, and yet something about her felt familiar. His thoughts kept returning to the moment their foreheads touched, to the memories that weren't his, but felt like they belonged somewhere inside him. "I don't know what's real anymore," he said, "but I do feel something. Something strange, like we've done this before. Like I've lost you before." She closed her eyes for a moment. "You did. You lost me in the last collapse. But before the city fell, we made a vow. One that reached across time and death. We promised to return, even if it took lifetimes." Jace let out a breath and watched the display as the pod neared the station. "You said your people built that city. Why were you still there when it started falling apart again?" Alira looked at her hands. "I was left behind to guard the core. Everyone else escaped long ago. I volunteered. I didn't want the city's secrets to fall into the wrong hands. The beacon could power weapons or heal worlds. I couldn't let it be used for destruction." Jace turned toward her. "So why now? Why did you think I'd come back?" "Because the stars aligned again," she said. "The beacon was pulsing with your pattern. I waited in the dark for so long, and then your presence entered the city. It knew. I knew. Before he could respond, a voice crackled through the comms. Unidentified escape pod, you are entering Terran Station 4 airspace. Identify yourselves. Jace leaned forward. This is Scout Jace Carter, ID 8712. I'm returning from Outpost Nura 9. I'm not alone. One civilian survivor with me. Copy that, Jace. Proceed to docking bay 6. Medical and command teams are waiting. Prepare for decontamination. The pod shuddered slightly as it aligned for docking. Jace glanced at Alira. They won't know what to do with you, he said. They'll ask questions. They might not trust you. I understand, she said. But I didn't come here to fight. I came here to stay close to you. The docking clamps engaged with a metallic thud. The hatch hissed and opened. Bright light flooded in, and humans in suits surrounded the pod with scanners and weapons. A voice barked. Step out slowly. Jace stepped out first, raising his hands. She's with me. She's not hostile. Alira followed. The light reflected off her glowing skin and cosmic suit. The soldiers paused, unsure whether to aim or stare. One of the doctors whispered, She's not like anything we've seen before. Jace spoke firmly. She saved my life. She saved the city. Let her speak. The commander stepped forward. Who is she? What is she? My name is Alira, she said calmly. I'm a guardian of the city you just lost. I came with peace. I came with him. They escorted both of them inside. Medical scans confirmed that Alira was stable but biologically unique. She had DNA traits that didn't match any known race, but there were traces of dormant human genetic patterns. Like her body had been connected to one before. They placed her under quarantine, not as a prisoner but as a precaution. Jace visited her every day. The rest of the crew observed from behind glass, unsure what to make of the girl who spoke softly and looked at Jace like he was her missing world. In the quiet room where she stayed, Jace finally asked the question that haunted him. How can you be sure it was me? Alira looked at him and answered without hesitation. Because when I touched you, I saw the stars from before. I saw our world. I saw your hands in mine. And I remembered what it felt like to be whole. Jace sat beside the glass. Then, maybe I'll remember too. Maybe it's not just a dream. You're not dreaming, she whispered. You're waking up. Outside the room, alarms suddenly blared. Red lights flashed. An urgent voice rang through the station halls. Unidentified vessel approaching fast. Shields up. All personnel to battle stations. Jace stood quickly. What now? Alira stood too, eyes narrowing. They found me. The ones who wanted the beacon's power. They never stopped looking. The screen above showed a massive alien warship coming out of stealth near the station. It had no insignia, no warning. Just weapons fully charged and shields glowing red. The enemy ship hovered like a shadow outside Terran Station 4, its weapons locked and glowing. The entire command room filled with tension as officers scrambled to respond. The station had defense guns, but they weren't made for battles with unknown warcraft of that scale. Jace ran down the corridor toward the viewing deck, his heart racing. He had barely caught his breath when the first tremor shook the station. A warning shot struck near the outer shield, causing sparks to fall. From the overhead panels, inside the quarantine room, Alira stood facing the window, calm but alert. She had seen this kind of ship before. They were relic hunters, scavengers of collapsed civilizations. They weren't interested in peace. They only wanted the power hidden in old ruins. Jace entered the chamber just as the doors unlocked under. Emergency protocol. We're under attack, he said. Tell me what we're dealing with. She turned to him slowly. They're not from my people. They're outsiders. After the beacon fell in the past, pieces of its power spread across space. Some of them chased after it, obsessed. They found ways to trace its energy, and now they've traced it to me. The intercom crackled. Jace Carter, report to command deck immediately. Your presence is required. He turned to leave but paused. I'm not letting them take you, he said. Illyra nodded. Then I'll fight beside you. The lights dimmed again as the station shifted into red alert. Jace reached the command deck and was greeted by a wave of officers demanding answers. Who is she? Why is that ship after her? Is she a threat? Jace raised his hand. She's not the problem. She's the reason we're still alive. The ship out there isn't here by chance. It followed her energy signature. But if we want to survive this, we need her help. The commander looked skeptical. She's not Terran. We don't have protocols for this. Then break them, Jace said. Or we all die today. The commander hesitated, then nodded. Bring her up. Within minutes, Illyra stood on the deck, her presence turning heads. Her shimmering skin and calm voice made the room fall silent. She stepped forward and spoke clearly. I can shield this station, but I need access to your energy grid. The engineers hesitated. That could shut us down permanently if it fails. Or buy you the time you need to fire back, she replied. They looked to the commander. He nodded reluctantly. Do it. Jace led her to the core chamber. Illyra placed her hands on the main conduit. Her body lit up like a star, sending bright energy into the cables. The ship trembled slightly, but systems began to stabilize. The outer shield surged with a second layer of energy. Outside, the enemy ship launched its first real attack. A plasma cannon fired at full power. But when the beam hit the shield, it bent and shattered like glass on metal. A cheer rose from the crew. For the first time they had a chance. Jace activated the station's cannons and targeted the hostile ship's engines. Now or never, he muttered. The volley hit its mark. Explosions tore across the side of the enemy ship. Smoke trailed into the void, but it didn't go down. Instead, it launched boarding pods toward the station. They're coming inside, an officer yelled. Multiple breach points. Jace looked at Illyra. Can you still fight? She gave a small nod. I won't let them take me. The battle inside the station was fierce. The invaders wore heavy armor and moved like machines. But Illyra was faster. She moved between them like lightning, her body glowing with energy. Every touch from her sent them flying back or falling apart. Jace stayed close, covering her with his rifle. Together, they pushed back wave after wave. The stations. Soldiers regrouped around them, fighting harder with each second. The tide was turning. Inside one of the corridors, Jace found himself face to face with one of the enemy commanders. The alien was tall and cruel, its voice metallic and cold. Give her to us, human, it said. She's not yours. Jace aimed his rifle. She chose to stay. You'll have to go through me. The alien raised a weapon, but before it could fire, a spear of energy pierced through its chest. Illyra stood behind it, eyes blazing. You won't take him from me again. The alien dropped. Silence followed. The remaining enemies retreated. A message blinked on the main screen. Enemy ship disengaging. They watched as the warship limped away, jumping to warp. The station was damaged but still holding. Inside, the crew stood in silence, looking at the strange girl who had just helped save them all. Illyra stepped off the deck and looked at Jace. It's not over. They'll return. As long as I live, they'll hunt the power inside me. Jace shook his head. Then we'll face them together. You're not alone now. She smiled faintly. Then let me show you what I protected all these years. There's more than ruins and war. There's something beautiful still hidden among the stars. Asterisk 2 days passed since the attack on Terran Station 4. Repairs were underway, and the halls were slowly returning to order. But deep within the secured science wing, something ancient was waking. Jace followed Illyra into a sealed research vault. The door hissed open, revealing a circular chamber lined with strange orbs, metal vines, and softly pulsing alien crystals. Illyra moved with quiet grace, her fingers tracing the glowing paths along the walls. "This is a memory room," she said. "My people used these to store feelings, thoughts, and visions from before the collapse. It's not just data. It's emotion, truth, the history of who we were." Jace looked around carefully. "You want to show me your past?" "No," she replied. "I want to show you ours." She placed her hand on one of the orbs. It glowed brighter. A wave of warmth filled the room. Light shimmered in the air, and suddenly they were surrounded by moving images. Cities floating. In the sky, beasts with wings made of light. And two figures holding hands under a twin sun. Jace blinked. One of them was clearly Illyra, the other looked like him. The clothes were different. The face was older, but it was him. A version of him from long ago. "That was the last time we stood together," she said. "You wore the armor of a Star Knight. I was a guardian of the beacon. We made a promise to return to this place, no matter how many lifetimes passed." Jace reached out, touching the glowing memory. His skin tingled, his heart ached. "Why can I feel this?" "Because your soul remembers," she whispered. "Even if your mind does not." The vision faded. Illyra turned away and walked to a deeper part of the room. She pulled back a glowing curtain of light, revealing a small pod. Inside was a crystal shaped like a heart and glowing faintly with the same energy that surrounded her body. "This was yours," she said. "When your body was destroyed, your essence was saved here. It waited. Until now." Jace stared at the crystal. "I died? In that life, yes. But not forever. Your essence traveled, was reborn. And now it's found its way back to me." He felt dizzy. The room spun slightly. His thoughts collided. It was too much. And yet, deep inside, he believed it. Not with logic, but with feeling. A soft ache in his chest agreed with her. Illyra stepped forward. "If you touch it, everything may return. But it might overwhelm you. You have to choose." Jace looked at the glowing core, then back at her. "Will it change who I am now?" "No," she said. "It will only complete what you already are." Slowly. Jace reached out. His fingers touched the crystal. A jolt of warmth shot through his hand, up his arm, and into his heart. He gasped as waves of light filled his vision. Images, sounds, emotions, the pain of separation, the fire of battle, a kiss under shattered stars. He stumbled back but didn't fall. His mind spun, but the memories settled like dust in still water. He looked at her again. This time with a fuller gaze, a clearer heart. "I remember holding you as the city fell. I remember your voice calling through fire." Illyra's eyes filled with tears. "Then you're truly back," Jace nodded slowly. "I still don't know everything, but I know you. And I know I won't leave you again." They left the chamber together. The lights dimmed behind them, sealing the memories once more. Outside, the station buzzed with tension again. There was news waiting. The commander met them in the hallway. His face was grim. "We intercepted a signal. The ship that attacked us sent a transmission before leaving. It called for others." Jace stiffened. "How many?" The commander looked down. "A fleet. At least 3 warships. And they're coming here." Illyra took a deep breath. "They want the last beacon, and me. If they get both, they'll be unstoppable." The commander hesitated. "We can evacuate. Abandon the station. It's not worth dying for." Jace stepped forward. "Then what? Let them chase us across the galaxy? Let them burn world after world? We stop them here, with her." Illyra touched his arm gently. "There's something else. A way to protect everyone. But it requires us to go to the edge of the beacons. Range, there's a place where its true form can be awakened. Jace nodded. Then that's where we'll go. The commander gave them 1 hour. A shuttle was prepared. Supplies loaded. As they moved through the hangar, crew members stopped to salute them, not because of rank, but because they had hope. The shuttle broke through the edge of the star system, flying fast toward a region marked only on old alien star charts. Jace sat in the pilot's seat while Elira guided him with quiet precision. Below them, a blue-gray planet rotated slowly, its surface half covered in mist and glowing cracks. "That's it," she said. "That's where the original beacon seed was buried. Before the wars. Before the fall." Jace lowered the ship toward the surface. His hands gripped the controls tightly. "How long before the enemy fleet reaches?" "US? Hours," she replied. "But once we activate the source, time will feel different. Space will bend. The beacon's heart doesn't just protect, it rewrites the battlefield." The shuttle landed near a valley surrounded by stone towers that rose like broken teeth from the ground. Elira stepped out first. The wind blew her hair back, and the soil beneath her feet lit with pale energy. Jace followed her through a narrow path into a large underground hall. The walls were carved with stars and ancient faces. At the center stood a giant structure, shaped like a tree made of crystal and steel. Its roots dug into the planet. Its branches stretched toward the ceiling. "This is the first beacon," Elira said. "It's the mother of them all. If I bond with it again, it will awaken fully, but I won't survive alone. I need your presence beside me." Jace stepped closer to the glowing structure. He could feel it warm and alive, pulsing gently. "Tell me what to do." "Just hold my hand," she said. "And don't let go." She reached out. He took her hand. The beacon responded. The chamber filled with radiant light. Their feet lifted slightly off the ground as the beacon linked with them. Visions returned clearer than ever. Galaxies collapsing. A vow made across dying stars. And the memory of love born in fire. Elira gasped as the energy surged into her chest. She cried out, but Jace tightened his grip. "I'm here. I'm not leaving." The beacon pulsed again. Light exploded outward, forming a dome across the valley. It reached into space, a wave that struck faster than any ship could move. It passed through the Terran station, then beyond, covering the entire system. In the far distance, the enemy fleet emerged from warp. Their ships aimed weapons and moved to strike. But the moment they entered the beacon's radius, their engines flickered and died. Shields collapsed, their guns powered down. Nothing worked inside the beacon's field. Back on the planet, Elira collapsed to her knees. Her skin flickered dimly. Her energy had been nearly drained. Jace caught her in his arms. "You did it," he said. She looked up weakly. "It worked because of you. You anchored me." Jace helped her to her feet. "Can they get in now?" "Not without help from the inside, and I know you won't let that happen." A voice rang through his wristcom. "Jace, this is Terran. Command, whatever you just did, those enemy ships are frozen in place. We have full control of the system. What now?" Jace answered without looking away from her. "Now we rebuild with her." They brought Elira back to the shuttle and returned to the station. Medical teams tended to her, though her healing didn't follow human science. She recovered faster than expected. In a day, she was already walking again. She sat beside the window, watching the stars with calm eyes. Jace entered the room, holding a data pad. "Command wants to debrief you." "They're still nervous." "They should be," she said. "The galaxy isn't done testing us." He sat beside her. "Then we face it together." She turned her head and smiled. "That was always the plan." Asterisk. The galaxy slowly began to notice what had happened in the Terran system. A weapon had been deactivated. An enemy fleet disabled. And at the center of it all was a human soldier and the alien girl who once guarded a Forgotten City. Peace didn't arrive immediately, but fear shifted. No longer was Earth seen as weak. No longer was Alira seen as just a survivor. She had become a key. A living link to a time when stars answered to different rules. Inside the halls of Terran High Command, leaders argued over what to do next. Some wanted to use the beacon's power to expand control. Others wanted to destroy it, fearing what it could draw in. But Jace spoke before all of them. She's not a weapon, he said. She's a protector. She didn't awaken the beacon to conquer. She awakened it to survive. And she did it with me beside her. His words changed the room. Slowly, the vote turned in favor of Sanctuary. The beacon and the valley around it were declared protected. No fleets were allowed to enter without permission from both Jace and Alira. Weeks passed. Alira spent her time teaching the Terrans about her people, about light memory, emotion crystals, and ancient bonds that spanned across galaxies. She never lied. She never withheld. She trusted them, and in return, they trusted her. Jace stayed by her side. He wasn't a scout anymore. He was something else. A guardian, a partner, a living echo of a love that had once shaken the skies. The memories he'd recovered now guided his every step. One night, beneath the stars on the edge of the beacon site, Alira stood in silence. The wind moved softly through her silver blonde hair. Jace stepped beside her without saying a word. They both looked up. "Do you ever wonder," she said, "why we were given a second chance?" "All the time," Jace replied. "But I don't think we were given it. I think we earned it." She reached out her hand. He took it without hesitation. Her fingers were warm this time. The energy between them no longer pulsed in fear. It rested calmly, quietly, like the galaxy itself was finally breathing again. "I used to dream of you in the dark," she said. "Of your voice, your hands. I didn't know if you were real, or if I had created you from grief. I used to dream of a place I couldn't explain," he said. "A face I couldn't name. Now I know it was you." She leaned her head against his shoulder. "Then let's make new memories. Ones that won't fade." From above, satellites captured the moment, not for war records but for history. A moment of peace. A moment of union. The first chapter of something new, born from ashes and forgotten stars. Later, Terran engineers helped Alira build a sanctuary at the edge of the valley. It wasn't just a home. It was a library, a temple, a safe place where humans and other species could learn about the ancient ways without fear. Jace trained new scouts. He told them stories. Not all of them believed him at first, but the evidence was clear. The once dead beacon now glowed gently every night, pulsing in harmony with Alira's breath. She no longer hid her light. She walked openly among humans, offering guidance, healing, and laughter. Children followed her like she was a storybook come to life. Soldiers saluted her not out of order, but out of respect. But far beyond the system, in parts of the galaxy untouched by peace, others had seen what happened. And not all of them wished for balance. Some saw power. Some saw opportunity. Alira sensed it before any sensor could. "They'll come again," she warned one evening. "Then we'll be ready," Jace answered. He placed his hand on her heart. She placed hers on his. No vow was spoken. None was needed. They had already made it in a time the stars had forgotten, and now they would defend it together.